Hey gang, welcome. Welcome aboard. If you are brand new, welcome back. If you're not, and welcome home. If that fits perfectly with you today, and if not, that's okay too. Today we're going to do weekly What's Up from the 6th of January to the 12th of January, 2025. Our first whole week in 2025. Y'all, 2025 is going to be amazing for a whole lot of reasons. And I guess I better, sorry, my cat likes to lounge on this space, so I get a kind of a messy little cat buzz up here. Anyway, 2025 is going to be wild. And by wild, I mean a giant change. Right now, I just want to talk about this week, though. So let's do that. We'll get back to 2025. Yes, we will. Okay, we start Monday the 6th with Mars. Mars is in retrograde, by the way. And Mars moves back into Cancer from Leo early in the morning. And then Mercury in Sagittarius is going to square Neptune. And that Aries moon that we are beginning this week with will sextile Jupiter, square the Sun, and conjunct Chiron. So Mars is backing into Cancer as he is continuing that retrograde motion, like I said. You might find yourself tackling some kind of homebody projects on Monday, and this can be external in your actual home, or it can be internal, right within, since this is a Mars retrograde. Like, we're talking about that internal work. And so it's okay, right? If that's what you're being asked to do, that internal way you show up, right? How you put your energy into the world. Pay attention, right? As Mars is retrograding back into Cancer, that space of how nurturing that action is for you is going to come into play. In other news, there is a Mercury squaring Neptune. And that's going to create some disconnection when it comes to the ways that you're open to expression, right? Don't believe anything just because it sounds good. Don't, right? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Just don't allow yourself to be snowed by anything on Monday. And put your intuition to work. Right? And trust your intuition, right? Like I always say, know what you know like you know it. Know what you know like you know it. There's no reason not to. On Tuesday the 7th, that Aries moon is going to trine Mercury, square Mars, and then move into Taurus in the afternoon. That Taurus moon will square Pluto, and then Mercury will quincunx Mars in the evening. So on Tuesday, your approach is everything. And what I mean by that is the way that you either square up to a thing or lean into a thing will be the determining factor in how the world shows up to you, right? Your feelings are absolutely critical. So if you dig in and get stubborn, or if you insist on getting your way, you're probably going to have a very hard time convincing yourself or someone else to follow suit. Absolutely. On Wednesday, the 8th, that Taurus moon will sextile Venus. Mercury moves into Capricorn, and this is overnight, right? This is before you wake up, unless you're a super early riser, because it happens at 4:30 Central. And that Taurus moon will sextile Saturn, and then the Capricorn sun will square Chiron. On Wednesday, focus on creating your internal state, right? The energy is very favorable to have a really powerful influence on the intuitive nature of your 3D reality. So keep your energy focused and present. That will absolutely follow for you to hold space of powerful creation. And it will also allow you to very powerfully shape your own reality. Just keep telling that healed version of your story every single time, right? Every single time, by the way, every single time. On Thursday, the Taurus moon will trine the sun, will conjunct Uranus and sextile both Neptune in Pisces and Mars in Capricorn. And then around 7 o'clock in the evening, Central Time again, the moon will move into Gemini. That Gemini moon will trine Pluto and sextile, thank you, Mercury. Thursday is a very fluid kind of day. You can witness the way that your desired narrative is manifesting in the 3D if you are willing to relax and let your intuitive self kind of tap into the magical nature of the universe. You'll get bonus points if you look in the mirror and witness that as well, right? The oceanic nature of possibility will absolutely be completely available to you later in the evening. So pay attention, right? Open those doors of possibility and see what happens. On Friday the 10th, that Gemini moon squares Venus, conjuncts Jupiter, and squares Saturn. Double temperance, okay. On Friday, the energy can feel very restrictive, and it might seem as though that feeling of unsettledness or the capacity to be satisfied is a little bit elusive. So consider every active way that you are expecting or emitting an energy that is being magnified so that that dissatisfaction is coming right back at you. And if you can pay attention to that, well, hold on. Well, thank you. If you can pay attention to that and find that that's true, make sure that you're forgiving yourself and adjust accordingly, right? And if you find that that's not true, well, bravo to you. On Saturday, the 11th, the Gemini moon sextiles Chiron, quincunxes the sun, and squares Neptune before moving into Cancer around bedtime, right? Saturday is a day where deep personal insights are available. And they're available if you can create the stillness within you so that you can both listen and hear, right? Again, this is a day where those deep insights are available. And what I mean by that is that the openness of your heart and soul are that portal when it comes to clarity that is available. And the fact of the matter is, if the language that those messages are showing up for you feels cryptic, be willing to be patient, okay? The key is absolutely available to you, and it will show itself if you give it perfect time and if you allow it to come into your periphery, right? Don't force it. Just ask and wait, and it will show up for you. And Sunday, the 12th, that Cancer moon is going to quincunx Pluto, oppose Mercury, square Neptune, and trine Venus. Jeepers, my brain and my mouth are not working in tandem here. So on Sunday, all of those dreams, all those visions, all the deep and dreamy kind of notions, right? They are very available to you on Sunday. It might feel like you're moving through a very, a denser than normal kind of energy. or even a denser than normal reality. Here's the deal. If that's true, you can choose to explore that density. See what's available, right? See what's available within that denser energy. See through the layers and see if there's anything that you might experience that can inform not only your current expression and your experience, but how it might create a new level of scaffolding for what comes next, right? So there's a lot of possibility on Sunday if you're willing to be in allowance of that. All right, let's chat. So on Monday, we have the Three of Wands and the Page of Wands. Fascinating. So we're talking about Mars shifting sign into Cancer, coming back into Cancer, and then Mercury squaring Neptune. Also the moon squaring the sun, right? So we have the Three of Wands and the Page. This is how your long-term future goals are being lit up right now, right? What is it that you're experiencing that can be put into place? Are you creating something within your home that can create a rippling effect that will inform what's coming next, right? Make sure that you are paying attention to anywhere where you're disconnected from that, because it will magnify. Pay attention to anything that sounds too good to be true, because the fact of the matter is it's going to be in action. So if it sounds too good to be true, you're going to get more of that. And guess what? We don't want that. No, we don't. On Tuesday, you have the Seven of Cups and the Five of Swords. So this is about options and perhaps conflict over options or confusion. We talk about this as the day where whether you choose to square up, right, square up or lean into your possibilities is going to be the determining factor in what comes back, right? We know that the universe is like a boomerang. We know that the universe always amplifies and gives us more of what we're sending out. And so it's critical to really know what it is that we're calling in, right? I like that we have a snake in this Three of Cups, right? Because we're coming into 2025 as the year of the snake as well. So make sure that your feelings, right, are kind of controlling where you line up with what it is that you're calling in. If you're calling in conflict, or if you're calling in, you know, like I always say, if you call in a shit show, you can't be surprised when the shit show shows up. So if you want to call in utopia and success and abundance and beautiful things, you can do those things, but you have to do it from your state. You can't just do it with your words. You have to believe that it matches up. So these ideas represented in these swords are critical here. Critical. Not just, oh, that feels important. No, 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 no. It has to be the driving force, or all of those cups are going to fill up with stuff you might not love. On Wednesday, we have the Moon and the King of Pentacles. What a lovely pair, right? So we're talking about creativity as your internal state, right? Energy that is favorable to make sure you have a very powerful influence on your intuitive nature of your own 3D reality, right? I love it when the cards really, really embody the energetic messages. We're talking about this day as really digging deep in the cycles and finding yourself focused and present so that you can be that powerful creator. The moon allows you to find those things that need to be lit, right? The moon allows you to witness that even in the darkness through the cycles of your own experience. And so you can be as deeply grounded within the cycle of tidal movement as you want, right? So choose, and then don't be surprised by how it works. On Thursday, you've got the Hanged Man and Temperance. This is wonderful, right? So how can you take your experiences and learn from them in order to shift your perspective? We talked about this as a fluid day, right? Very fluid, really witnessing how your narrative is manifesting in the 3D. Here's the deal. If you can tap into that magical nature, right? This particular Hanged Man is very, very watery, right? He's more dissolved than anything else, right? What a beautiful perspective, right? I am the drop and I'm the ocean, really creating the synthesis that is so evident in the Temperance card. So the oceanic nature of possibility will absolutely show itself to you today, as long as you're able to hold space for your intuition, right? Represented here, as that space that you're creating. And how do we do that? We do that through identifying with ourselves as the wisdom of the universe, right? You got this. You know how to do it. It's all about the resistance. On Friday, you have Temperance and Justice. So we're doing the same thing here. We're just doing it at a little more structured level, right? So we talked about this as energy that might witness your own feelings of satisfaction or feeling settled, right, as being a little elusive. And how can you witness yourself as being the creator of that, right? We talk about the justice energy as not being one side or the other of the scale of itself, but actually being the fulcrum upon which both rest. And here's the thing, this is, as Temperance, you are the point at which knowledge and experience come together, synthesize to form wisdom. And so how can you make sure that what it is that you're putting out comes back to you? You can pay attention to where you're grounded, to where you're rooted as that fulcrum, right? What you're creating is the thing that will allow you to draw it back. On Saturday, we have Strength and the Three of Swords. This is an interesting pair. Especially on a day where we're talking about those deep personal insights, right, inherent in the Strength card. Those are things that come to us through that Platonic awareness. Well, Plutonic, I'm sorry, I might have mispronounced it, and I don't want it to sound Platonic. It is Plutonic awareness today, as we are being drawn into the way that we come into the world, the things that we're willing to allow to come up from our own depths and how we manage it. What are those things usually that we find in our depths? Well, we usually find the places where we have loss or sadness or heartbreak. And how do we manage them, right? Through our will, through the way that we choose to step up to them, to the way that we choose to embrace them as gifts through the openness of our heart and soul, right? Allowing them to come into our reality through the portal of our awareness, and really allowing clarity to be that thing that we take away, right? For every wound, there is a gift, a lesson, a clarity, right? And I'm not suggesting that the pain of wound is not real. I'm simply saying that the place where you're truly healed comes from the perspective that allows you to see it as a gift, as a something, as a sadness that showed up with a pearl in its hand for you, right? And the more you lean into this strength energy, the deeper you are willing to witness that as that pearl instead of that pain. Both are valid. It's just what you need to pay attention to at the time. You know, you have to heal the pain to get to the pearl. So it's just fact, y'all. On Sunday, we have the Magician and the Seven of Swords. Now, this is fascinating to me, especially since we're talking about this as a day where dreams and visions really are available to you, and how we really want to feel like we might be moving through that denser energy and witnessing what's available. Well, the Magician is that elemental space of energetics, right? Where we can really witness ourselves as the creator of our own reality, as the one who is able to manipulate the situations in our own reality. The thing about the Seven of Swords for me is that this is always, well, I shouldn't say always, this is usually a card that represents betrayal for me. And so most often, this is a card of self-betrayal. So what is it that you're manifesting based on something that's not true? What is it that you're calling into being based on something that's not aligned with you? Something that's maybe ideologically sound, but not aligned. There's a difference, right? You can understand that something is true and correct and exists in its own idea or even ideal, but it's not aligned with you. And that's absolutely okay, right? So as you're witnessing those layers of reality, remember that what is informing your current expression and experience is also creating the scaffolding of your layers of reality. And if you're not in alignment with them, I don't care how wonderful and true it is for somebody else, you're going to create something that is not in alignment with you. And you're going to have to banish it later. So just pay attention, right? Just pay attention to what it is that you are calling in and how true it is for you. Not for Joe Blow, not for Sally McNally, but for you. We have nonlinear time. Right? Remembering that every single thing we're doing, learning, experiencing, expressing is done on our perfect timeline. And it doesn't have to be anybody else's timeline. You might not be called to fix, and I'm air quoting fix. You might not be called to fix a problem or learn a lesson or deal with an issue in this lifetime. You might struggle with something this entire lifetime, all of your days. It might be something that you are learning to experience 4 lifetimes from now. It might be something that you need in a completely alternate timeline. You don't know. This is non-linear time that we are dealing with. And the more easily we're able to adapt to that concept, the better off you are, right? We have this very cute polar bear, a leg up, number 34. So 34, 3s and 4s or 7s, if those are messages for you, you can have those, absolutely. Let's see what this message is here. The essential meanings of this card are receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. The message is you have come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept the aid that is so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. Wow. Pluto in Aquarius, y'all. That's a great message for Pluto in Aquarius. There is so much to talk about. I'm going to have to do a video on this 2025 for real because it's a lot. At any rate, this week is asking you to really witness the way that what you're creating is singularly belonging to you, right? It's your path. You are the one who's being asked to witness both the possibility and the limitation. And guess what? Limitation is okay. It's your chosen limitation. You get to set your own boundaries. Don't lie to yourself and tell you that you don't need them. You do. Everyone requires them. Everyone has to wield the swords, right? You just have to make sure that you're wielding them in alignment with your truth, with your reality. And make sure that you're structuring everything in accordance with the way that you're being asked to synthesize for your own best interest, right? That doesn't mean you don't take into account the collective good. It simply means you step up and say, oh, how am I best in service, right? It's all good. It's all good, guys. We learn it whenever we're ready. So don't fret about it. Don't feel like you're on anybody else's timeline. You're not, okay? You're not. You're doing it just right. All those choices belong to you, and you don't have to have that fear of missing out. Not a bit, right? You just step in. Do whatever you want. Every timeline is your timeline. So just keep going. You're doing great. You're doing great. Be super blessed and take care, right? Tend that inner garden. Yeah, tend it. Take care, guys. Be blessed.